This is my first podcast I've ever been on.
Really?
Yeah.
Sweet.
It's my
I'm
first
glad to be your first experience.
Yeah, my first podcast. And it's interesting because it's like I've always wanted to go on a podcast, but I feel like, I don't know, I just haven't. But it's cool to be back, to be on a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't cuss. So it's like, saying the F word to me is like, holy crap, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
But it's cool that I'm on a podcast that says the F word because it doesn't really count for me, It's a good podcast, I can tell. That's why I'm on it. But
Sweet.
yeah.
Well, I have Aaron Hall here with us today.
Aaron Hall, or you can call me Sunlight Kid, but honestly, you can call me Aaron Hall. I mean, I have two names pretty much, two different names.
Why? Where'd Sun Hat Kid come from?
I used to wear a hat all the time. I wore a sun hat.
Yeah.
And I kind of did like a lot of stunts and comedy, and I kind of I try to stand out, like wearing a hat, and I was like, I'm gonna name myself Sunlight Kid.
That's awesome.
And then kind of like, I don't wear a hat anymore, but people know me by Sunlight Kid. I don't know. So I'm in that position where like, I'm just gonna be Sunlight Kid and Aaron. People can call me whatever they want.
Sweet.
Either
I wish
way.
I had a nickname, honestly.
Either way, and then so it's like, my favorite name is Paul.
Why?
I love the name Paul.
Paul, your favorite name in general.
Paul came from because every time I go to coffee shops and stuff like that, I would say, they're like, "What's your name?" I say Aaron. They're like, "Eric?" I'm like, "No, Aaron." And that's say over and over. So I decided to say Paul. So I sounds like very like probably 13, 14 years old. I always say Paul because it's the you can't
fuck it up.
Can't mess it up.
I hope you don't mind my cussing because I do it a lot.
I bet you cuss a lot. I can tell.
Okay, well, look, I brought Aaron on the podcast today to talk about mental health.
Yes. Just about mental health.
Just your mental health. What makes you passionate about mental health?
I think with mental health, why I'm passionate about it is because I myself go through a lot of mental health. I've always gone through mental health since a young kid, since probably the age of like 5 years old. My mom started like realizing there's something wrong with this kid, not in a bad way, but kind of like this, he's off a little bit. But
something different about
that. So I think that as I got older, it started getting worse and worse and worse, and I think that's what I struggle with now. And as I look at the past, and I'm like, oh, all that stuff happened. A lot of things in my life happening was because of my mental health. The things that happen now in my life is because of my mental health. I can't blame everything for mental health, but definitely holds you back a lot in ways. It makes things harder for you. It makes everything harder for you when you're dealing with anxiety and OCD. Like I have very, very, very bad anxiety. I deal with that big time. It's a huge thing. Being up here is anxiety. Coming here is like I feeling anxious, freaking out. Almost wanting to getting a little dizzy. Because it's like I'm anxious. I'm freaking out. So it's like stuff like that. It's like being up here sitting here with you makes me anxious, and stuff like that I worry about. I freak out about, and then so I've always been dealing with mental health since a little kid, but it's getting worse. But it's getting worse but better. That makes sense.
Yes, it does make sense. I feel like you're doing really well though because you pushed through that anxiety. Like you came up the mountain anyway, and I'm sitting here talking.
Yeah, well,
anyway.
I'm pushing. I'm trying to push very harder now with everything. I'm trying to I feel like right now is like the point where I'm like, you can't not push yourself. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be afraid. You gotta
not letting the fear control you.
Yes, exactly. And that's what I'm trying to do now. Is like with anxiety and stuff like that. Definitely anxiety is like facing your fears with it.
100%. So what are your mental health diagnoses?
So pretty much I was diagnosed with at a young age. It was FASD, which is more kind of put me down as FASD. FASD is fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. Fetal alcohol spectrum disorder is pretty much my birth mother drank inside her stomach, would cause brain damage. So that's what I have. So that right there that's FASD. And then I also later was diagnosed with autism, and then I was also diagnosed with OCD and anxiety and ADD. What's ADD? I don't really feel like I kind of refused to my doctor that I had ADD because it's like, but she read the symptoms off. I'm like, you have ADD, Aaron. I'm like, okay.
Why'd you want to not take that? Why didn't you want to be diagnosed with ADD?
It's just one of the things like how am I, it's like how can you have autism, OCD, FASD, how can you anxiety, all this stuff, what I'm talking about? And it's really, and I kind of views that I had ADD in a way. Maybe it was just pity, stupid. I was just being stupid. Like I don't have it. And then but she read the symptoms, she read it off, the symptoms off to me. I'm like, I have that. You're right. Okay, I can't. Okay, all the symptoms. I'm like, that makes sense. So it's like she was like, so it's like, okay, you have, you have like there's like 7, I think, symptoms or whatever, and you said that you have 5 of them already. So I'm like, dang, I'm like, huh. So, but ADD is ADHD actually. But I'm just like,
do you know the difference? There is a difference?
ADD. But the thing about, I'm not hyper. I'm not running around freaking out, hyper. You know, and I mean, I can sit still and edit a video.
Yeah.
The thing about me is that I'm hyper in my brain. So it's like it's like I can't. I have. It's like, imagine if you want to drink a cup of coffee, right? But you want to drink the cup. You want to be done with the cup of coffee already. Your brain's already thinking ahead that you already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? No, maybe I'm
catching your drift.
Maybe I'm explaining it wrong. Okay, it's just like everything is rushed in your brain. Everything is cluttered and rushed, and you have to get things done now. You're not patient. You think the whole world's falling apart.
Always on edge.
And you can't get things. You never get things done because your brain is going 100 miles per hour, and you're moving. Your body, you yourself, is moving slow. So pretty much, at the end of the day, you've already thought of everything you want to do that day. It's all in your brain. You're cluttered with all that stuff that you want to do. But you realize you're still sitting on the couch. You did nothing. I mean, that makes sense. So that's what ADD is for me, at least. Like, it's like I have so much stuff that I'm trying to do and get done in that day, and I'm freaking out, thinking my whole world's falling apart.
And then you have so much anxiety about it, and you don't do anything.
Nothing ends up actually getting done because I've overthought it. I overthought everything so much to the point where my brain is already fried. That makes sense. Yeah. It's already shut off pretty much. So my brain shuts off a lot. So in this interview, we might shut off a few times. Like, it shuts off in a way of like...
It gets overstimulated.
Yes. Maybe. Oh, yes. I have very bad sensory issues. So, not sensory issues. Well, I have sensory issues, but stimulated, meaning like... if too much information is in my brain, coming in my brain, it shuts off. If I'm anxious and I'm nervous, like right now I'm anxious right now, my brain shuts off and I can't think ahead. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I feel like I'm just talking my words right now without thinking. Makes sense?
Things are just coming out.
Yeah, so my brain isn't thinking, I feel like right now, but I'm talking. So it feels like your brain's numb. Mm. You know when you're
not connected with what you're saying.
You know when you get up and your legs like tired?
Yeah.
And you're like limpy, like, oh, I got legs falling asleep right now. That's how my brain feels when it shuts off. Like, I feel it. I'm like, I can't. It's like, I feel, but I don't feel. It's like I can feel it's like not working. Yeah. So yeah, that's like the perfect definition.
Did it bug you to be diagnosed with a handful of things?
Yes.
Like the label with it?
Or the label, the thing is, the label's a label. It's more that people, because like, that's why I hate saying it, but it's like, the label is just a label. The thing is, it's living with it. That's the problem. Yeah. It's like, okay, you can sit and say, well, you have OCD, but it's okay, you have OCD. And then what? But it's really the fact that every single day is a struggle for me getting out of the house, trying to, making sure that I don't have intrusive thoughts. Like if I went, like, even like the fact of like, I have very bad intrusive thoughts. I don't talk about OCD enough. I have very bad intrusive thoughts. Like, very bad. I mean, you can ask me a question, like, I don't know, like, I have intrusive thoughts about animals, babies. It's like if you look at an old lady, and you're like walking down the stairs set, you imagine pushing her down the stairs, but you envision the whole thing. And that's the problem that I have. It's like, you imagine, like, you're walking down the street and you see a dog and you're worried that you're going to be attracted to that dog. It makes any sense?
So OCD is the intrusive thoughts?
It's intrusive thoughts.
As well. That's like a part of it.
Yeah, so OCD is intrusive thoughts. That it's unwanted thoughts. And I've done a lot of research. I've done a lot of research in OCD, and so has my mom. And it's like, I'm thinking like, man, why do I have these thoughts? And there's actually a book on it where it's that everyone who have thoughts like that are the least of people who would actually do something like that. So it's like, me, like, if I'm holding a baby and I imagine, wow, and you just imagine you're holding a baby and you're holding a baby by a fireplace, right? And you think about, oh my gosh, I could just throw this baby in the fire real quick and it'll just burn and it's dead. That's where your mind will go.
But they don't ever act on it.
Oh my gosh, definitely not.
But did you say that they're more likely to act on it?
No, the least likely to act on it. People who have intrusive thoughts and overthink things are the least amount of. They're so worried about it. They're so scared about becoming like that. I mean,
so most people don't have those thoughts, because I've
a lot of people have intrusive thoughts. I think actually a majority of people have intrusive thoughts. Just don't talk about it.
Yeah,
I feel a lot of people have intrusive thoughts. I think the thing about OCD though, so you have intrusive thoughts, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, you have intrusive thoughts. My friend Nick over here has intrusive thoughts. The only difference is that you obsess about it. And choose a thought will go on for hours. That same thought until I do something to make the thought away, like a compulsive. If I like maybe like count a certain amount of times, or if I do like if I like, you know what I mean. So certain you have to do something to get to let that compulsive leave, to let it go, like, to let it, so you're not overthinking it so much.
How does OCD show up in your life?
Oh, everything. OCD, it's very, very bad. I have severe OCD. It's like germ-related stuff. I think lately germ-related stuff was more when I was younger. But I think now I would say intrusive thoughts and overthinking. I overthink a lot of things. I have a lot of intrusive thoughts. I've been working on the contamination stuff. I've been doing a lot of stuff. That's been helping me, because I had OCD was affected everything, affected a lot of things, like, in my life.
Yeah, your day-to-day
life. Like, I couldn't even drink out of, like, I remember going to Starbucks. I couldn't even like drink out of a cup someone touched, because they were a certain way. That makes sense.
Yes, it does make sense. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's very complicated. But yeah, no, OCD is something that I definitely struggle with a lot.
I think there's definitely a misconception a lot with OCD. A lot of people say, "Oh my God," they use it so casually, like, "Oh yeah, you're so OCD."
Oh yeah, no. Oh yeah, no. Oh yeah, OCD. I don't like when people do that. Even when they say I have OCD, I have a little OCD. I'm like, no, you don't have OCD. You don't have OCD. It's hard to explain, because like everyone doesn't like germs. Yeah. Everyone doesn't like to get sick. No one wants to get AIDS. No one wants to get, no one wants this stuff. But the thing is, the OCD is you obsess about it. You're so scared about it. All you think about is I'm scared about getting AIDS. Because I was scared about getting AIDS over a time in my life. That's a big thing, and, something that I feel like that's what I struggle with. I did struggle with, and I feel like that is like, I obsessed about it. I did things so I wouldn't get AIDS,
What kind of things would you do to avoid getting AIDS?
I would examine like toilet paper. That had I thought there's toilet paper, if I used a toilet paper and I thought there was blood on it, I would remember I being in my house, and I would look through the toilet paper to see if there's any. I thought I saw blood stains on the toilet paper, and I thought if I wipe myself with this toilet paper, I'll get AIDS because it has blood on it, and that the people who had this toilet paper are purposely trying to give me AIDS. That's why my mind goes, pretty much. It's a very
they're out, more of you're out to get me, and a bad consequence that comes with it.
Yes, it's that happens with OCD too. Like where for me at least, it's like I feel like people do things on purpose, to try to get me sick, or try to, or you're like, wow, you sneezed on me on purpose, and now you're trying to get the flu. Like, you want to give me
you're out for me.
You're out for me. You want to give me. You have COVID and you sneezed and you didn't cover your mouth. You did it on purpose. I don't like you anymore. Don't ever talk to me again.
How was it for you during the pandemic?
Oh, I don't know. The COVID stuff. Oh my gosh, I don't know. It's like I think I don't know. I think this was definitely worse in my brain than COVID. To be honest.
Yeah, and it picks and chooses. You think of what it obsesses on.
Yeah, definitely obsessive about a lot of things with OCD stuff, and definitely life controlling for sure. There's a lot of things about OCD. So much studying about OCD. It's so much. It's hard to talk about it. It's like
there's a lot to cover with.
Well, it's just so much. It's just when you're dealing with it so much every day, it's like you're sick of it. You're sick of OCD. You're sick of talking about it. You're sick of thinking about it. It's just part of your life. And then
you think it controls your life?
Oh yeah, it controls my whole life. OCD controls my whole life. It's definitely a big thing in my life.
What are the feelings that come associated with that for you?
Well, the thing about OCD and anxiety, I feel like there's two different things. The same thing, very similar, but two different things, right? You have anxiety where you overthink things, you're afraid of things. You have OCD where you also overthink things, but in a compulsive way. So it's like with OCD anxiety, it's confusing, it's very confusing. It's like you will get anxiety if you don't do something to fix your OCD.
What would be a way of fixing your OCD? What do you mean by that?
I mean, there's a lot of things that I do. Is like I will just like I said, washing your hands so many times. It's like if I wash my hands 5 times, and my brain says, oh, if you don't wash your hands 7 times, you're gonna die tonight. Something like that. If you don't wash your hands 7 times, God's gonna punish you and you're going to hell. So it's like, crap, I don't want to go to hell, so I'm gonna wash my hands 7 times, and then you realize. So that's how it is. So it's like you wash your hands 8 times, and then you're like, oh, and the devil is talking to you now and saying like, you don't believe in God anymore. You believe in me because you washed your hands 8 times. That makes sense. So it's very stuff like that. It's very weird. That happens a lot.
And you
I have very bad religious OCD. I always think
OCD.
I always think God's going to punish me if I don't do something correct.
The OCD ties in religion with it.
Oh yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm very. I'm not real. I don't call it religious, but I'm a Christian. So pretty much I have my morals being a Christian, everything. But I also have a problem with the OCD affecting me because I constantly think that God is going to punish me if I don't do something correct. Mm-hmm. If I don't do something right, if I have an intrusive thought about this, if I don't act on this, it's all downhill for me. And then it's like, or your mom's gonna die tonight, your mom's gonna get in a car crash tonight if you don't do this. Or it's a lot of that going on too. So it's like I always have to, do something. I'll walk down the street and I'll like see like a crack. Or like, oh crap, something bad would happen if I don't walk around that. And I literally, like, actually, it's like, so if that happens, like, I sometimes have to walk in a certain pattern.
Yeah.
To go somewhere because I can't. Something bad will happen to me, or God will punish me if I don't walk in a certain pattern down this sidewalk, and I try to.
And you follow what your brain is telling you, right?
Yeah. So usually yes. So there's even a point too, where I was like, I remember this happened part of my life too, where I would have to look at people. Double look at people like this, like I random people, like I had to like do like, okay, 1, 2, 3, like, you know what I mean?
It could be a number and counting.
So it's like, yeah, so it's like that happens. So that imagine doing that to a random person though, you having to do a random person, like, why are you? So it's like
it comes across as weird.
Well, probably.
Yeah.
Wow. If they pay attention, so there's a lot of stuff like that OCD. It's like so much stuff. There's so much stuff with OCD that I deal with. There's time at OCD where I wouldn't eat food that if the person had gray hair or not. So, and I had also a lot of gay stuff with OCD.
What do you mean?
Like I wouldn't drink after. I wouldn't touch someone's cup. If I say I went to a Starbucks and the person was gay, I wouldn't drink out of that cup.
Yeah.
I was very.
What did you think would happen if you drank out of the cup?
I guess I was very afraid about. There was a lot of times in my life I was kind of afraid about turning gay. That makes sense. Like, what if I'm gay? What if I think that guy's there was the time I was on my job, and I was at a gay worker, and it was like a thing of like I constantly kept thinking like, well, crap. What if I think he's attractive? And I was in the same bathroom as him, and I'm like, crap, I gotta get out, because what if I start having intrusive thoughts about me and him, and me and him kissing, like, an example. It's like, holy crap. And so it's like a lot of fear of me worrying about me being gay. So it's a lot of like, I would avoid it. Like, I want to sit by gay people, I want to be around gay people. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of like fear. But now it's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
that's actually I'm not even trying to like call you homophobic in like a mean way, but in a way I feel like that's a perfect example of like homophobia. Because it's really a fear of being of gay people. I'm not calling you homophobic.
I'm not homophobic.
But I feel like that's a perfect example of it, if that makes sense.
Well, yes, to an extent.
Yes, to an extent.
Well, it's not to an extent, because I'm not homophobic in a way of like I don't hate gay people. That's what you probably would think. You're probably thinking that right now.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking it was a fear.
Oh no, it was a fear. Yes. I mean? Oh yes, definitely. Oh, so and that affected me a lot. And people would kind of like joke around like, oh, Aaron doesn't like gay people, like my other friends and stuff. I'm like, no, that's not it. It's more to a deeper story than that.
Yeah, 100%.
It's more that fact that I'm gonna end up having a dream about you, me kissing you on the lips, and then and then me waking up with with a wet spot on my underwear. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. No, and I'm being serious. Like,
I know you're being serious.
Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's that happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Without being trying to sound vulgar, but it's like, because I'm not gay. But sometimes I get afraid, a word that, oh crap, what if I am gay? Mm-hmm. But I'm not. But you can try. But that's with the OCD stuff. You're having intrusive thoughts about things that you don't want to think about in all of the stuff. That makes sense?
Yes, it does make sense. Yeah. And I have a question, and I don't know how it's gonna come across, but I know that you would act like on the compulsions for comfort, like it would make you put the obsession maybe at ease.
Yeah.
But does part of you know that it's not true, that like if you don't wash your hands 7 times, your mom isn't gonna get hit by a car?
Oh no, I know. Well, no. The thing is, I know, but the thing is, like, at that time, your brain, you're not thinking that. Yeah. And that's why at the time, your brain's only thinking about crap. My mom's gonna die tonight if I don't do this right now.
It's sucked into the thought.
You're only thinking about that. You can't. It's hard to think about. It's the same thing when you have a panic attack. When you have a panic attack, you can't. You're like, supporters will reach out to me like, I'm having a panic attack and stuff. I'm like, and it's almost say like, oh, just get through it. The thing is, and what people tell me, like, it's hard to explain. It's like, the thing is that when you're having a panic attack, it's more than that. Because it's almost like, because it's easier to say, like, once the panic attack's over, like, oh, that's, I'll get through it. But at the time, all we think about is you're about to die. Because you're not going to have a heart attack, or you're not going to pass out, or you're not going to die from a panic attack. But you could pass out, but you know what I mean? But you're not going to die. And the thing is, you're overthinking that, right? But at the end of the day, nothing happens.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, yeah.
You also were diagnosed with autism.
Autism.
I don't know the first thing about it, so
autism. Like I'll let you know how autism works. So I'm not good at communication.
Okay.
I don't have a filter, pretty much. I don't have a filter. It's somewhat there. It's just not there at the same time, and that's what people are told. Like, Aaron, you don't have a filter. It's like, and that's what makes things kind of hard for me to kind of like make sure what you write and what to say and not what to say.
So you've learned over time what's socially acceptable to say and not?
No. No, because it's like one of the things, like, I don't know. Even if someone teaches me, I still don't know.
Oh, okay.
So it's like I have to go. It's like sometimes it's like almost you have to. I don't have to go off a script the rest of my life, pretty much, if I want to exactly know what's right and wrong to say. So there's a lot of things like, yeah. So it's I think with autism, you have the communication skills. I'm not good at communicating. I'm not good at. I can talk to you, but I'm not good at how to explain. I'm trying to think what everyone else says to me. You're not good at giving people the right information. Make sense? So it's like, imagine if I told you a story, but I want to say, my mom will say, Aaron, you are missing the biggest part of the story. You're telling your whole story, but you're not talking.
The point isn't coming across.
Yes, you're not talking about the biggest point of it.
Yeah.
The biggest part of it. You're missing a whole point of a story that everyone needs to know, but you're not saying it. That will happen a lot. That's a big part of my life. Or kind of like not explaining things right. I don't explain things right. Or I explain things
accurately?
Yeah. No, I explain things accurately, but I sometimes take things out of context.
Oh.
Makes sense? Like, I will say something, and I meant it this way, but I said it this way. I can't get the words out. I think it this way, but I say it this way. That makes sense? So it's like you say, like, you know what I mean? Like, imagine you have a bunch of stuff you want to say. It's all in your brain, but when you word it out, it comes out across completely different. It comes out aggressive, rude. It's so much.
Yes, I think I know what you're saying.
It comes out completely different, and then what you actually are trying to come across, and it's like everyone looks at you, wow, and like, why would you say that? Oh, why would you do that? But no. Then you can't. Then you have a problem where you can't protect yourself, because I have a problem with, once I'm in that environment, anxiousness, I kind of like, it's like now you just kind of like just shut off, and you kind of like, the words just don't come out. It's just like you're dying. You don't have it. You have one try pretty much. Makes sense. Definitely. I'm talking about when you're in an environment of like anxiousness. Not like me and you sitting. I'm talking in a group of like 5 people, and you say something wrong, or that's it. That's all you have. You don't have a way to, like, someone else will have to come in and talk for you, if because you already messed up, and there's no way of fixing it, because you want to keep stuttering, and the words aren't come out right. You're freaking out. Your brain's shutting off, and it becomes like a nightmare.
How do you feel when you're in that, like, knowing that you can't get your point across?
Oh my gosh! I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate telling you that. I hate when I'm trying to explain something, I can't get it. I can't explain what I want to explain. I hate it, and I feel like that's what I try to do a lot of times in my life, and I can't do it. I try to, and someone else will come up and like, will have to come up and try to like, no, Aaron means it this way.
Yeah.
And
it's like, no, I know what I mean.
But if I'm in a room with people, and I'm by myself and I have to protect my own self, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
I'm screwed. I mean, like, if like 5 people there and they're all ganging up on me, kind of, and I'm by myself and I'm like trying to get things out of my head, I'm freaking out, I'm having a meltdown, it's game over for me, because it's pretty much like I have no protection, pretty much. And that's like a thing that but the thing is, like, it's almost like, well, people, well, why don't you just not say the things you say, or why don't you not do the things you do, or why don't you just listen?
Why don't you just change? Yeah, that's obnoxious.
But it's harder than that. It's harder than that because there's so much. It's so confusing. It's like you can't gather. You can't get the. It's for me. It's like I have a problem receiving information, getting information in my brain to understand it. Okay, and then I have a problem trying to get the information out.
Yeah,
it's gonna take. I have to like go off. How I use it. If I tell a story, I like to tell a story in like an exact story. Like okay, Clifford went to the park. I like to tell exactly how it goes. Like he went. He came out of the house. Blah blah. I like to tell my story how it goes. I think that's yeah. Hopefully it makes sense. But now I'm like all over the place. I feel like I'm all over the place like right now.
I'm catching your drift. I really am. But drift? What are you're catching your drift? I know where you're going.
Like yeah. I feel like you're like a surfer person, aren't you?
No. I don't know. California rubbed off on me a little bit.
Gotcha. So how about your journey?
You want to know about me?
Yeah.
My journey with what in particular?
Yeah, with everything.
With my whole life?
No, with you. Like, do you deal with stuff?
I deal with your basic things. Just a big thing for me when I first came out to California was social anxiety. I would be shaking if I was like in a room with like 3 or more people. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, and I didn't know what that was. I didn't know how to identify anxiety until I was 18 years old. You know what I mean? I have like PTSD.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why do you have PTSD?
Physical abuse.
Really? You had physical abuse?
Physical abuse growing up. And,
oh, wow.
There was sexual abuse in there very early on, like in elementary school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, so like I didn't even know I'd experienced trauma. It was hard for me to identify that like, oh, I actually went through trauma. And it affects me now.
Do people when people tell you that? Did people feel like you're being dramatic when you tell people their stories?
When I tell people my story that they're being dramatic, yeah. Sometimes I feel like that.
Like you're being dramatic. I'm saying. Like do you when you tell people your story of what you've gone through? Do people kind of like? Do you feel like people don't take it serious and they're kind of like, oh, here's just another story of child abuse?
Depends on who I'm talking to.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Depends on who I'm talking to.
That's why I was adopted at child abuse.
You were adopted?
Yes, I was adopted. And that's why, because of child abuse. And that's, and so, but I feel like when you tell people those stories, I feel like they don't understand how much effects it actually does on you. That's when a psychologist explained to me kind of like everything in your past that you don't even remember. Well, not even my psychologist told me this. My social worker actually told me about this. Everyone in your past that you don't remember leads up to now.
Yes.
Everything. You don't remember. Like all that stuff was happening, when you're younger, leads up to now.
That's
everything.
True.
And that's the thing that people don't understand either, is that you don't have to even remember it. But it's like but the smell outside, the air, the food you eat, everything pretty much revolves around during that time.
Yeah, like
that makes sense.
Yes, it does make sense. I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, the things we don't even remember are still ingrained in us. You know what I mean? You honestly, I think you said it perfectly.
Really?
Yeah, because it really, like, I get really uncomfortable around men sometimes.
Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah, just it's almost like a feeling of unsafety.
So you don't like men?
No, I like men.
Oh, so you're okay. So do you have a boyfriend? A girlfriend?
No.
I'm assuming that you're gay, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I could tell. Well, not yeah. I mean, I kind of knew already. Got the hair and stuff, and the nose ring, and the way you talk.
Yeah, you put it together.
Yes.
I just sometimes feel uncomfortable around men.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that why you're gay?
I don't know. Maybe.
It's interesting.
I think sexuality is very confusing.
Do you were born gay?
I don't know. I don't know if I believe that, and I don't know if I was made gay or born gay. I'm not opinionated on that.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if it really matters. Like, there's another thing. Like, were you born an addict or were you made an addict?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's interesting to think about. Yeah.
So, I also, since we are on Fuck the Stigma, I wanted to ask what stigmas you've kind of faced with like mental health.
Stigma means.
Really?
No.
Wow.
People keep talking about that, but I had no idea what the stigma means.
Wow. So stigma is.
What is? Yeah, that's a good question. What is? People keep saying that. I keep hearing about it, but it's like I keep talking about mental health, and I've gone through. But I keep thinking like I haven't researched it. I don't know if I would even understand if I researched it. So yeah, I would like you to explain it to me. Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
So going off the top of my head, stigma is a mark of disgrace, having like a negative opinion or like bias towards a certain topic, person, or like circumstance. So, for example, there's a stigma on mental health and mental illness. Like for depression, the stigma with depression is, why can't you just get over it? Be happy, cheer up.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's,
I know what you're talking about.
That's a stigma.
Oh, that's how people with autism. I feel like autism and OCD and stuff. Like probably like someone like I know was kind of said about OCD. Like like it's not real. Get out of your head type of thing. And it's like, dude, I don't think you guys understand how bad OCD actually is and what it does to your life. Same with autism. People don't understand autism. I want the whole world to understand autism.
I want to understand.
But it's one of those things that it's just like, I think about if people knew about autism, is that people would understand, like, people wouldn't get so mad at people like some people all the time, like me all the time. A lot of people get mad at me a lot. Look at my friend Nick here. Nick should go in the frame right now. Explain, Nick. Come over here and explain. Give your point of view on it, because the thing is, like, everyone in my life gets mad at me, but no one wants to hear the story. But no one wants to hear the explanation of how I see things. Imagine friends and everyone getting mad at you, like kind of old friends or friends now getting mad at you all the time and not understanding you, and that they get mad at you, but you don't have a way to like tell them what's going. Like, no, I see it this way.
Yeah.
They don't give you a chance. They're like, oh, he messed up, or he said this. Yeah. But they don't want to listen. They don't want to, like, oh wait, maybe Aaron sees it this way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? There's a lot of that with autism people. With me, it's like I see things my way. Yeah. Only my way. I only see things my way. There's no other way. It's very hard to see.
Black and white.
Oh yeah, that's why I get told that Aaron sees things in black and white. So I think I see things. It's like it is very hard for me to see things in the middle. It's like either if I tell a story, it happens this way. If I don't, so the thing is, like, but I think the thing that makes people upset is that other people see it a different way, possibly, but I see it this way, and will only go that way because that's the only thing my brain understands, and that my brain only saw at that time. You understand? That makes sense.
Nick, what has been your experience with Aaron? He was referring to, like, the friendship dynamic.
Oh yeah, it's like a learning experience. Like, we see things differently, but we have to understand that we're not going to come to agreement all the time.
Yeah, and the thing about me is, like, everyone has to agree with me.
Yeah, and he always wants to be right, and I'm like, no, Aaron, you're not right. Like, deal with it.
It's agreeing to disagree type of situation.
But he's learning. That's what
it feels like Nick's my parent right now. Like, when your parent sits down and talks with
you. Yeah.
No, but I think a lot of the friends I have, I think I would not have lost a lot of friends that I have. Like, I will make a friend, or I'll lose a friend instantly. Well, I'll keep friends and I'll lose them, because the things I say and the things I do, the things they don't want to understand. They don't want to understand me. They don't want to understand, like, okay, they don't want to understand me. I mean, it's hard to understand me. My mom gets frustrated with me. My brother gets frustrated with me. My ex-girlfriend got frustrated with me. Everyone gets frustrated with me because it's hard. You got to be patient with me. You got to be, I mean, don't be patient with me. You don't have to. But I wouldn't have lost so many. A lot of people would understand me, like, oh wow, Aaron. It's just hard to explain, but I think people don't want to give me the benefit of a doubt to try to explain things, and to a friend, because instantly they're gonna, they don't want to they don't want to see how I see it. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, maybe, like, even between your guys' friendship, it's like agreeing to disagree on certain things. I'm sure you guys love each other. You know what I mean? And
I don't know about love.
Like each other's company, enough to be friends, so you kind of just appreciate each other regardless of, like, some opinions and viewpoints. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and something you've been getting better at is realizing people don't have to understand you and agree with you all the time.
No, I'm learning that, but it's like, but the thing is, like, that's the problem though. That will cause problems to me.
Give me an example of something that you would
like his when they diagnosed him with what was it? ADHD. You got, like, you didn't want to accept that. You said you don't have it.
Oh yeah, it's like I have. It's like, to give you an example. It's like me and Mom argue about some insurance thing. Okay, she said that. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. I guess I could say it. She probably hate me and brought this up. But so pretty much, like, she said that I had care sores. Okay, then my psychologist is like, what insurance do you have? I said care. My mom said I had care sores. My mom said, no, I didn't. I never said that. I'm like, yeah, you did. So I'm obsessing about it now. I'm like, I know I did. I know you told me I had care sores. You're wrong and I'm right. I will keep thinking about it until she says I'm right, because I know I'm right and I have to be right. That's the thing. I have to be right. and it makes you go crazy if I'm not right. I will literally have compulsive feelings. I'll freak out my brain. It's like it's almost you want to like literally jump off a cliff and if you can't figure out that you're right or not.
Because that's how passionate you are about it.
Oh, I'm very driven.
Yeah.
To make sure that I'm right.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If the thing about it too is like if someone says, "Oh, and you're wrong about it," and I know I'm wrong, I'll say, "Oh, I know I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Oh, definitely." The thing about me is like there's only two. There's like so that's the thing with me. It's like I have to be right.
Yeah.
So that's the thing but it's not a good thing because it causes a lot. It's like, Aaron, you gotta accept that you're not always right because I'm not perfect. But it's just like it's like you're walking down like a sidewalk that you need to walk in a certain pattern. If you kind of step out of the pattern, it's like you need to start over again. Like crap. Like until you keep walking down a certain pattern to make sure that you're completely right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like something to Aaron, he has to do things consistency or the same way. Like if he's in a different environment, he'll kind of freak out about it.
Like you need a routine.
Yeah.
Oh
routine.
yeah.
Routine.
Oh my gosh. When I was in Ohio filming my documentary, mental health documentary. When I was in Ohio filming it, pretty much when I was in Ohio getting my mental health fixed. I was just working on it. You'd see my psychologist and stuff like that, and pretty much I had a routine. I had the same routine like every single day: coffee, library, write, and then my go to my job. The same. It was easy because of the same routine. Wake up in the morning, 10 a.m. type of thing. Walked in the same pattern, the same down the tracks to the lot. It's like I could point out, see it in my head. It's point, see it. Just like this. Like everywhere I go, it's the same pattern every single day. And that's easy for me. And I come back to Los Angeles, and I'm kind of like couch surfing here with my friends or staying. That is like things come a wreck because I am not in a pattern anymore.
Yeah.
And I have to figure out how to.
Things aren't expected, like
no,
unexpected things
everything
are happening.
unexpected. Coming here is kind of unexpected. I have a new environment, freaking out on the way up here. It's like the thing is that you won't be able to. No one's gonna go by your pattern. No one's gonna wait for you. No one's gonna wait for you to go. You have to do things that have to. This is me permanent learning to be like everyone else. You know what I mean? That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's dope.
So then I think with anxiety, yes, it's part of like anxiety, and I think that all of it's, and a lot of it's, I feel like a lot of it's the same. Not the same, but a lot of it is just, it all, I don't know, all starts problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all a problem. And I feel like, I don't know.
What are kind of your like goals right now?
My goals?
Because I heard you're working on a documentary.
So I'm working on a documentary. I wrote a book.
Sweet.
I wrote, and so those are two things I'm working on right now. Those are the two. The documentary is like getting edited right now, and the book is getting edited right now as well. So those, I'm like kind of now just trying to get back into just working on focus. I'm working on TikTok a lot, like posting on TikTok and Instagram, and just that's what I'm doing. Just focusing on just trying to do
making stuff.
Yeah.
Well, trying to get back to social media without. Cause I get a lot of hate on social media. I got a lot of hate. Holy crap.
Like what kind of hate?
Oh my god. Just old stuff that I get a lot of hate. But
old stuff.
I can't talk about it.
I can't talk about it.
But I get a lot of hate. But it's not the thing is like
I try to explain to them the haters, like if they see him in the street, they ask you for a picture, Aaron.
Yeah, so
that's what always happens. Like some other kid like told him something mean on Instagram the other day, and then the kid asked him for money after.
Or did you blow up somewhere? Like you blew up on the internet?
On YouTube.
Yeah, you look kind of familiar. I don't know if I've seen you before or not, but
familiar.
You have like a familiar face.
Oh, he used to do guy on guy porn. That's probably where we recognize him.
You're lying.
Gay porn, dude. Also, I don't. You said gay porn?
Yeah.
And I'm just gay porn. So have you ever thought about becoming a trans?
No.
Is that a bad question? No, it's not a bad question. I'm curious.
It's a like funny question to ask on the podcast, no, I've never thought about it.
It's interesting because it's like I don't know because it's like I don't know. It's interesting how that stuff works. Because like sometimes
it is interesting.
Because like because it's like when you're a lesbian or you want to be a guy, you look like a guy. Why don't you turn into a trans? That makes sense.
You think I look like a guy?
I mean, not. You can tell. There's some. You can definitely tell you're a girl, but it's hard to.
Do you want to understand? I can explain it to you. Okay, So I wouldn't say like I'm really like, you know, like I'm wearing a crop top right now. You know what I mean? Like I've never really felt like a boy. I really identify with being a woman. I like my tits. I like having a vagina. And I've never really wanted to like have a penis. Like it's just something I've never wanted to be in a man's body. You know what I mean? I really like my body.
Oh yeah, because trans have a penis, right?
It depends. But I am like, I do like women, but that doesn't mean like I want to be a man. You know what I mean? I feel like sexuality and gender identity are two different things. Like, yeah, I do have the short hair. It's just a little more comfortable for me. You know what I mean? I have like,
do you do short hair because you want people to look at you as a lesbian, or do you
no.
feel like, oh,
it's just how she likes to look. It's like a style.
Yeah, it's really, I just prefer it. You know, want me to tell you the story of how I cut my hair? Yeah. I had dreads. I was doing dreadlocks. And then one day in my addiction, I didn't get any drugs. I couldn't get any drugs. I didn't have money, and there was no plug. No, like, drug dealer. Yeah. And me and my guy friend.
Drug dealer?
I couldn't get drugs. Yeah, that's another conversation, though. And I just, like, me and my friend, like, we were going a little, like, we weren't okay mentally at the time, and we were like, dude, fuck it. Let's cut let's buzz our heads. Yeah. So it was very impulsive. I didn't, like, plan to really have short hair. It just happened because of my impulsivity, and I was uncomfortable and I wanted to change something. Oh wow. So it wasn't like I want to have short hair because I'm a lesbian. You know what I mean? It just ended up happening. So I kind of maybe fall into that stereotype.
It's interesting to be a lesbian.
It's fun.
That'd be very interesting, I think.
What did he say?
It'd be interesting to be a lesbian. Don't you think so? Well, technically I'm a lesbian. Technically I'm a lesbian. I like girls.
No, I'm not a lesbian. I wouldn't know. I never thought about that, like me being a lesbian.
No, but yeah, that's just
it's not possible.
Yeah. So that's just what it was is impulsive. I just happen to fall into that stereotype of like, oh, I'm a lesbian with short hair. But also I have gotten over time. I used to hate the word lesbian. I was like, don't fucking call me that.
It sounds cool.
Right. I don't mind the word now, but back then I hated the word.
I don't know anything lesbo.
Yeah, I feel like lesbo would be.
It's like calling someone a name of like a lesbo.
Yeah, it's a mean way to say lesbian.
Like, you're a lesbian. It sounds like. So I'm curious about like, so what's your biggest word that you offended by then, with the gay culture wise?
We're not gonna say. You know, I'm not offended by any word.
Really?
Yeah. Aaron gets offended. You get offended
by what?
If you start saying like, oh, what if I like this because I'm gay? Well, maybe you're gay then, and you're like, I'm not gay. Like you said.
Yeah. Like I know I'm not gay, but I'm very curious about it because, not in a gay way, but like in a way of like, it's interesting because it's like, man, it's like, I don't know. Then I know I'm not gay. I know I'm not bisexual either, and I know there's no percentage of me that wants to be with a man. But it's like one of those things of it. It's just interesting though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially if you don't know anything about it. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know. I mean, I've done research on it.
Has nobody ever like explained it to you from personal experience though?
I have a question.
What's your question?
Have you ever had like a sexual thought about another man, like a dream or anything?
Nick, yeah, we already know I have, dude. It's not a big deal.
It's for the podcast, dude.
You need okay, to be honest, I don't care. I mean, I'm open about everything. I'm learning about being open about everything. It doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah, because fuck the stigma.
Well, no, exactly.
Yeah. But I used to work with a boss, like an employee, and I had a sex dream about him.
Mm-hmm. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You don't even have to be gay to like for that to happen.
Yeah,
just,
you can't help it.
That's just straight people.
Yeah, you can't help it. I think because I'm worried about being gay so much.
Yeah.
Or maybe, gosh, maybe I am gay, but I'm not. I know I'm not, but I'm saying like, what am I? I'm not saying I'm not. I think my mom.
Maybe you're curious.
I'm not curious either.
Did you answer that question about stigma? Because I feel like we got sidetracked. Because I was like,
oh no, you kind of like
we
went off on a tangent.
Yeah, we went off on another tangent. So,
what does stigma mean to you?
Stigma means to me is that people don't care about either mental illness or mental health, and they think it's fake. That's how I look at it. It's like people think like, I can't see it, so I don't believe it.
Or I haven't experienced it, so I don't believe it.
Yeah, so it's like so you have OCD, or you suffer from panic attacks. You know, it's like you're not limping right now, so you're fine. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, you have arms. You have your hands aren't broken, so you know that it. But I don't think the thing about this is my psychologist explained to me. I think it was my psychologist. Anyway, someone explained to me pretty much like it's like the brain's the most important part. of your body, right? Brain, your heart. I'm pretty sure, right? So pretty much like this, like it's like there's no fixing it. You know, it's like there's no fixing. You can fix your broken arm, you can fix, but there's no fixing your brain.
There's no like.
There's nothing. I mean, you can.
There's no like surgery to fix mental illness.
Yeah, there's nothing that you can do. Nothing you can do besides you take medication to help, certain things. Like I was on medication for a while, and
you're no longer on medication.
No, I was on because like I had a bad trip. What is it called? Intoxicated, I think. You
were maybe like a psychosis. Maybe like a bad trip. Like I think is a psychosis.
I took my medication like I usually do. Yeah. And I got like hallucinating.
Yeah, of course.
So like unicorns.
I love acid. I personally.
I didn't do acid. No, I didn't do acid. I don't do drugs. I never did drugs in my life. I said medication.
Oh, I thought you said bad trip on.
Oh my gosh, no! I've never touched any alcohol. I'm talking Zoloft. Oh my gosh, you thought I did actual medication? No. Holy crap, no. Oh my gosh.
It's so funny.
I use the word bad trip in terms of psychedelics. I'm over here like I love acid.
You're giving a high five?
Oh no. No, I took Zoloft. Zoloft is like a prescribed medication.
And you started seeing unicorns. Especially when you said that, I was like, oh my god, acid.
He's on a good one.
Oh no. I like took my regular medication. I woke up like sweating and I woke up like everything is moving in slow motion.
Yeah.
And it was just like, and I was like, every time I closed my eyes, I would see like horses, just like, it was weird.
Oh, Eric,
interesting.
One more thing about your stigma thing. Before you told people you had autism, all his comments were filled like, oh, what's wrong with this kid? He's autistic.
So I'm going to tell you about that. So it's pretty much, so on the internet, a lot of people would, it's like a lot of people would, I don't want to talk about the comment. I don't want to talk about I feel like I should not talk about too much of the comments and stuff.
I really just want to say the stigmas you experienced and how how it affected you. Like if it has affected you.
Oh yeah, exactly. Everything affected me. Everything. People what people say about me, what people say about me in the past, like years ago, people would call me retarded, slow, low IQ, what's wrong with this kid? He can't spell. A lot of that stuff, dude. It was like bad. Like a lot of comments, DMs of, and I'm like, how can you? And I get people who still call me retard, and I mean like. That's a mean word to use. I mean,
It's a horrible word to use.
No, that word is. I mean, it's a fun word to use, but it's not a good word to use,
Because using that word is literally like the stigma. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's actually a word used for like an actual like medical reason.
Yeah, retardation.
But people use it in a different context to be mean.
As an insult.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you're retarded.
And now that he's posting about autism, people are saying, "Oh, you're faking it. Why are you faking it? Like, why you're faking? You don't have autism."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's what the stigma.
Yeah, that's the stigma.
It's the people. Wow, because people don't. You said I perfect explained it earlier. Is like if you don't have a broken leg, you're not limping, you're not in a wheelchair. So actually, my mom was reading a book. My mom was reading a book on this about, and he's like this kid was like people would kept being mean to him and stuff, but something happened or whatever. But he had autism, right? And then he finally came with a wheelchair, pretty much. That makes sense. So it's like pretty much like if I imagine if I at my job, everyone's like, oh, this kid doesn't know what he's doing, blah blah, what's wrong? It's hard to explain, but pretty much like I don't know. It's pretty much like imagine you coming in with a wheelchair. And then everyone's kind of like, oh, there's something wrong with him.
It's like visual. It's not, you can't visually see it.
That is, yeah. So it's like you have to, that's the thing about mental illness, and is like, just because you can't see it doesn't mean you don't have it. And that's probably the hardest thing about mental illness is, that's why a lot of people say like mental health and OCD and stuff like that. People are like, oh, you don't, it's a fake thing. All you gotta do is just let it go. It's just your mind, meditate. I'm like, dude. I'm like, you guys don't understand how the brain works, and that makes it that frustrates me, about stuff like that.
But the thing with that, Aaron, you can't fix it, but some of that stuff could help you.
Yeah, so what are these buttons?
Yeah, don't press those.
Yeah.
Whoa. I love pressing buttons. That's one of my things.
So how old are you?
20.
You're 20. Oh wow.
Yeah. How old are you?
I'm 27.
Sweet.
Do I look 27?
No.
How old do I look?
I don't know, maybe like 24.
That's interesting.
How old are you, Nick?
24.
Sweet. Yeah. Okay, well,
yeah.
I feel like we covered it all. Yeah. I honestly covered all the questions I had down for you. Great. Rate my interviewing skills now compared to soft white underbelly.
Oh, well, gosh. He's good. I'm not gonna lie. He's really, really good. I liked him. You're good too. You're good too. You're fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think.
Rated out of 10.
Rated out of 10. 7.
That's actually pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I thought it'd be like a 3.
No, it was fun doing it with you.
No, but thank you so much for watching today. I'm really glad we got to break the stigma on a few things today. And I appreciate you guys coming all the way over here.
Oh, and his the documentary drops that we've been working on in October.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Yeah, next month it should.
Yeah.
And should be.
I'll promo that shit.
Yeah, and then we're gonna have a premiere at a theater. We're gonna rent out a theater for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, invite me to that.
Yeah, you can definitely come.
Yeah.
That'd be really sick. And then well, thank you for having me on. It was definitely fun, and hopefully this gets out to people and helps people. That's what the main focus is, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's help people.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.